So this is very exciting to us because we're doing this live and it's a little bit hairy, but we're going to do it anyway because I reckon the connection is going to get us there. We're crossing to a woman who I actually discovered on LinkedIn. Again, I just love the world that we can just reach out to each other and say hello, and people say hello back, and now we're talking. It's just lovely. And then I listened to her podcast, and we've been chatting on Zoom, and she's joining us now all the way from New Jersey. She is a physician and a musician, and she brings both of them together in a beautiful service, I'm going to say. Dr. Sydelle Ross, good morning, or evening to you.
Yes, it's evening now in my neck of the woods, and good evening to you, Joe, and good evening, Ange. Pleasure to be with you.
Sydelle, I just love what you do. You caught my eye because you work in a hospice, which in Australia is called palliative care, and you work with people who are at the end of their lives. And as a part of being a doctor for those people, you sing to them bedside. Can you explain how this came about?
So, a little bit of a background to this. When I was 6 years old, I remember telling my mother I was going to be a doctor and a singer, and I would do both. I would take care of my patients, and I would, by singing to them, along with, the more kind of conventional and traditional ways that we take care of patients. But singing was going to be a big part of it. Over the years, unfortunately, that kind of the singing got pushed to the side, and all of the studies and the medical studies and the sciences and all of that really took up a lot of my time, and that's what I focused on. But truthfully, once I became a physician and I started practicing medicine, I was so unhappy. There was something that was just not there, something huge that was missing. And I was forced to just take a step back and kind of reevaluate the things that have always brought a sense of purpose and meaning to my life. And every time I thought about it, I would just come back to singing and music. And so one day I had this epiphany. I thought, what if I just one day sang at the bedside for someone? Let's see how that goes. And that's really how it started, to tell you the truth. When you walk along the path that you're meant to walk, it's funny how things kind of line up. And it just so happened that the day that I made that decision, one of my patients, I was asked to see a patient who was a professional jazz musician. And he was dying from cancer. And so, of course, music had been a huge part of his life. It had been that's how he identified. That was his identity, a musician. And so I thought, this is the perfect opportunity. This is the time to start. And I just kind of jumped right in. And from there, that has made all the difference. It hasn't been easy, I will say, because I had to overcome some of my own obstacles, the things that I put in my own way, before I started doing this work. I questioned my ability to do it because I always identified as a physician, but not so much a musician or a singer. And so I used to think, well, who's going to take me seriously? I might start singing and then someone's going to be like, you suck. What are you doing? This is a joke. Get out of here.
Wow.
Well,
but you know what?
How wonderful. I'm sorry, Sydelle, how wonderful that you have been able to combine your two passions of music and medicine. I want to hear more about the response you get when you're having these bedside singing sessions, the response from the patients, but also their loved ones as well. Tell us about, perhaps share some of those experiences.
Absolutely. So there are quite a few kind of precious moments. There was one veteran who was very angry. He came in with really end-stage prostate cancer. And he was angry at everybody because he blamed everybody for what he had been experiencing. He could no longer walk. He was paralyzed because the cancer had compromised his spinal cord. And so, but we learned, my teammates and I learned that he also loved music. And so I thought, you know what, maybe let me just try. I'll give it a go. I'll give it a shot. I'm going to go in there and see if I can sing something for this gentleman to see if that might help to break the ice. So I go in there, I say, Mr. X, I'm Dr. Ross. I heard that you love music. And would it be okay if I were to sing something for you? He's like, yeah, whatever. All right. Yeah, go ahead. And I start singing. And I see him close his eyes. Tears start streaming down his eyes. And he says, at the end of it, he looks at me and he goes, what the bleepity bleep are you doing in this bleeping hospital? You're wasting your time here. You need to be on a stage somewhere. You need to be on Broadway. Get out of here. Stop this. Stop it. And from that moment, I would go to his room almost on a daily basis, and we sang, and that opened up doors of communication, and he was no longer angry at me. And until the day that he died, we would sing. I would sing. Sometimes he would join in, and he looked forward to my visits. He would ask for me to come in and sing at the bedside. There was another occasion, a relative, she had just learned that her husband had stage 4 lung cancer. And we're in the room. I'm there with the primary doctors who are delivering this, the difficult news. And they leave the room. I stay behind. And I learned that they're religious, and music too was a big part of their lives, in being steeped in the Christian tradition. And so I decided that I said, would it be okay if I just sang a little song for you, His Eyes on the Sparrow? And the wife, she said, sure, that would be fine. And I sang, and she too started crying. And she said, I was there with my social worker, and she said to the social worker, I like you. Dr. Ross, I love you.
Sydelle.
Biggest hug. I mean, she just me so tightly. I could feel the appreciation and just the gratitude for what I did in that moment. And I hope that she took that with her, and that it lifted her spirits for quite some time.
So
I could go on and on, but
well, I can imagine you are faced with extraordinary moments every day in your job, and anyone who has, I'm going to say, been privileged enough to be present with a loved one as their life has ended, is aware that the incredible importance of teams such as yourself, incredible, people that sit around and help us see our loved ones out of this life. Super important, and just really moving to hear you speak about how you step into someone's moment like that. What is the power of music? Why does it shift us in this way, in such an incredibly emotional and really primal moment of our lives?
Yeah. It's that's a great question, and there's a lot of research now going on that seeks to answer just that question. Why does music make us feel the way that we do? And some of the research suggests that music really activates various parts of the brain. Certainly, we have the auditory center, so we hear it. But when we hear a familiar song, there's also the memory associated with the song. I mean, I think we can all relate to when we might have heard, let's see, La Bamba, for instance. and how, and we can associate the great memories that we have, right, with that song, and other songs that we enjoyed during the course of our lives. And so we're finding that it's the activation of all of these centers, the pleasure center, dopamine is released in our brain. So we kind of get a bit of a high also sometimes when we listen to certain songs. The emotional centers in our brain get activated as well. So sometimes a song may make us feel more somber, a little more solemn. And so all of these areas activated at the same time really has an effect on us that few things do. And music is really very unique in that sense.
Sydelle, is the power of music in situations like this widely understood by health professionals, or is there some resistance to the beauty of this?
Yes, and so not well understood, to answer the first part of the question, and not necessarily accepted by all healthcare practitioners. We still have a lot of skeptics in the field. And this is why I'm trying to do my part, to do as much as I can to really promote awareness of music's healing potential, so that this can be made more widely available and become really part of the standard of care for taking care of patients. I mean, who is not going to want a modality, an intervention that can bring them comfort and joy when they're faced with literally life or death situations? Who won't want that? And I think, and the research is promising. There's more and more evidence coming out to suggest that this is a credible treatment modality that is worth exploring. Because I will tell you, one of the things that I have found, and one of the reasons that I became so disenchanted with the way that I was originally practicing medicine, was because I found that I felt that there were times when I was causing more harm than good. I was practicing pain medicine and I was prescribing opioids. And it became very clear to me that for a certain subset of these patients, these medications were not helping. In fact, they were only causing harm. And I didn't feel good about the work that I was doing. I really didn't. And that was devastating. It really was devastating, because what that did, I have now come to realize, was that it set up, or it created the roots of the imposter syndrome, right? So I found myself in going down this dark path of just not knowing where I was and what I was doing, and not believing in what I was doing, and wondering if I was even meant to be doing this work, and just doubting my identity, my professional identity. And that was just not a good place to be. And so once I took this step back and I reassessed and took a look at my life and realized that this is what I need to do, I decided that this is what I'm going to just do it. And whoever wants to come along with me, they're welcome to come along. And we hope that along the journey, we'll bring more people with us, and we can really create a movement to revolutionize healthcare. That's what I hope for.
It is really extraordinary what you're doing. We've got a comment on Facebook from Linda who says, the smallest things often make the biggest difference. It's such an important part of someone's life. So thank you for your gift. We're going to ask you to sing in just a moment, but just in reference to that, for those of us who, and I think we all must go through this at some point where we're saying goodbye to someone that we love. And it's for us a very strange experience. For you, it's daily that you're in that world. What sorts of things can we do in those moments when we're saying goodbye to the people that we love that would assist them on their journey?
Yeah, so I always encourage loved ones to just sit at the bedside, hold the hand of their loved one, speak to them. Speak in a calm, soothing voice. There is some belief that hearing is the last sense to go, to leave a person in their last hours of life. So we encourage loved ones to speak, express their love, to reassure their loved one that it's okay for them to go. Certainly having some soothing music, of course, I will advocate for that. Having some soothing music that the person would have enjoyed during the course of their life can also be helpful, because all of these things help to create an environment of peace and helps to kind of transition the passage from this life. So those are just some little things I think that can really create special moments at the end of life.
When I was telling my partner about the work you do, he said to me, please don't sing to me in my final hours. That's his wish. Fair enough.
Yeah. I would say the same, Ange, if you happen to be by my bedside.
I say to people, people always say, well, you can sing, so you'll just sing. It's fine for you. But what about those of us who can't sing? And I say, listen, I believe that as long as you can speak, you can sing.
Ah.
It's not necessarily a matter of how well you sing. I mean, who's to say that someone sings well or doesn't sing well? Like, what standards do we use to determine that? It's very arbitrary, actually.
Yes.
And so I feel like if you want to sing, just sing. I don't think he'll hold it against you.
Oh, well. Sydelle, to wrap this beautiful conversation up, would you be able to sing a few bars for us?
Sure. There's a song that I often sing with my patients because it's uplifting and it's fun. And many of them know the song, so they can join in if they're able to. And it's called Blue Skies. So here it goes. Blue skies smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. Bluebirds singing their song, nothing but bluebirds all day long. Well, I've never seen the sun shining so bright, never seen things going oh so right. Noticing the days hurrying by, when you're in love, oh, how they fly. Blue days, all of them gone. There's nothing but blue skies from now on.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Sydelle. That just gave me goosebumps. That was incredible. Oh, thank you. What an incredible gift that is. Your voice is a true gift. Do check out Sydelle's podcast, Prescriptions in Song. And wow, I just feel so blessed to have had you on the show today. Thank you so much. Actually, I need to tell you that we have had another comment from Dr. Lillian, who she is one of our regular viewers on Broad Radio, and she's a psychologist actually, Dr. Lillian. She says, I use singing as a form of torture to get my kids out of bed in the morning. Oh, that's great. Singing has a lot of power, obviously. So.
Absolutely.
Dr. Sydelle Ross, it's been so lovely to have you all the way from New Jersey. Thank you so much, and all the best
Thank
to
you
you
for
all.
having me.